Welcome into the latest edition of Extra Time. We have Frank Leboeuf, we have Ale Moreno, and we have Stevie Nicol. And can we just say how lucky Stevie is that he missed what happened the other day with the hot sauce? Because everybody has been asking for Stevie to do it, Ale.
Honestly, when it came up as a possibility, and I brought it up to our producers, and I said, you know, if we're gonna do this Harry Kane question about hot ones, I happen to have the bomb beyond insanity, the sauce. And when I looked at the roster of people that were doing the show, I said, well, yeah, this crew will do it. I wasn't sure that Stevie would do it, and if he did it, I wasn't sure that he was gonna make it through it.
Couldn't.
And honestly, I think we're fortunate that Stevie didn't partake in the challenge because the outcome may have been catastrophic.
I've got a question. Why have you got that in your house?
Because we're fans of the show. We watch the show, and I watch it.
So you just bought it because...
I watch it with my kids, and it was one of my kids' birthday present was the whole spread of sauces that they utilized in that show.
He didn't believe we had the actual one.
Oh, yeah.
He thought we had some tame version.
No. The bomb beyond insanity, which is, for anybody that watches the show, that show, Hot Ones, is the make or break. It's all fun and games up until you get to that sauce, and then after that, it gets real hot.
Yeah, as Harry Kane showed us in that interview, although we just had a bit on a cracker, he had it doused all over a chicken wing. So maybe that's our next stop.
What's that?
Yeah.
The chicken wing?
The chicken wing with it all over, and then Stevie can join us. I think Frank Leboeuf is with us as well.
I would also say that in some of the feedback of our participation, people were saying that it was a setup that we already knew it was happening. I knew it was happening, but to be fair to Kay and Shaka, they did not know.
We did not.
I knew it was happening because I knew the Harry Kane question was coming, and therefore I decided, you know, this would be a good idea.
Yep.
Even better so when Stevie wasn't here because
I felt cheated, and people were thinking it was weird that I had water, but I always have water with me in the studio. So there you go. It wasn't a setup. Well, it was a setup by the producer and Ale, but we didn't know about it, Shaka and I. Okay, first question, Ale. With the arrival of Gundogan, Pedri will be more advanced and making more inside-the-box runs. With this, how many goals and assists should he have for it to be an impressive season?
Double digits in both. I think it should be the goal for Pedri, to get to 10 goals and 10 assists. Beyond that, whatever you get after that, I think it's a bonus. But it is realistic for me to think that that is a possibility for Pedri. But more importantly, he has to believe that that's realistic. And I think it's something that Xavi has mentioned about Pedri, that he has to be a credible threat inside the opposition 18-yard box.
Okay. Did Frank just give a in the background there? No, it was Stevie.
No, nothing special. I was just, I had a problem with my throat, but I totally agree with that.
All right. Ale, is it ridiculous of the rumours that CONCACAF wanted to join the Copa Libertadores? Does this make sense for all of the parties that are involved?
Well, it's not ridiculous. It has happened before. Mexican teams have played in Copa Libertadores before, and have actually played really well in Copa Libertadores. Structurally, I think for what we would consider to be the top leagues in CONCACAF, which is obviously Liga MX and MLS, it would make sense for those teams to go and play Copa Libertadores. But then you have a big mess as to what you do with teams from places like Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, and how do they fit into this? It's complicated to be able to logistically make it work and not disrupt the history of Copa Libertadores itself. I'm all for Liga MX and in particular MLS going and playing Copa Libertadores because I think it improves the product in both places, both in South America and here locally. But what do you do with the rest of CONCACAF? It would seem unfair to deny everybody else and give the opportunity just to Liga MX and MLS.
Next question, and we kind of half did this in the main show, so I will go back to Frank Leboeuf on it because he's the one who gave us a big, long, in-depth answer. Will Rice transform Arsenal? Please do a special section on this. So let's just go specifically on how Rice will transform Arsenal, Frank.
That's a good question. I think it will bring first stability in the middle of the park. If I compare to Partey, for example, or to Xhaka. Partey gave half of a season absolutely fantastic, but wasn't consistent the whole season through. Xhaka, because of his temper and the possibility of losing his temper, kind of unbalanced sometimes the middle of the park. With what you have with Rice, and I think it's Noble who say that, is that the guy you can count on him. You can rely on the guy. He exactly knows what he has to do, and he's going to do it for 38 games if he's called by Arteta for the 38 games of the Premier League, and he can do the same for the Cup, for the Champions League. You know what you have with him. Consistency, stability, power, and leadership. He's young, but I'm pretty sure that very soon we're going to see that he's one of the leaders of the Arsenal squad.
Okay, next question. You can all answer this. When you were very young, did you start out in a different position from the one in your professional careers? For example, Lewandowski started out as a defender. You didn't mind a few different little positions on the pitch, did you, Stevie?
No, I started out as a winger. Yeah. My hero was Willie Henderson, played for Rangers, was a winger. And I started as a winger. Yeah, and I actually ended up playing as a winger sometimes at Liverpool on occasions. But yeah, I was a jinky winger.
A jinky winger.
Oh. Aye. Always a forward, was always a striker, and I always, even when I was a little kid, was always scoring the same type of goals. it was the tap-ins, it was inside the 18-yard box. My game was in there. Then as I got older, hold-up play, playing with my back to goal, didn't quite have the size to do that, the height to do that, so perhaps it's something that limited me, but I wasn't a player that would turn and go at people. I didn't have the pace to do that. So for me was hold-up play, lay the ball off, find people in wide areas, get in the box, and go score goals, tap-ins, whatever. And they all counted the same. Yep. We talked in the show about how you knew you had that moment in which you knew your game was no longer what it once was. It's when managers and coaches started dropping me into the midfield, and I'm like, what? What? That's when I knew it's like, what? Hold on a second, but I like to be in there. That's when I knew that the dream was coming to an end.
And I wonder if that little boy, that little Ali Moreno scoring those tap-ins, knew he was going to annoy so much Stevie Nicol one day on the sidelines.
Maybe that's what kept him going.
Absolutely, motivation.
Were you good at the dives back then as well, Ali?
Well, this is something that.
Hold on.
This is something that you were born with.
He never died. He didn't die. He just fell over. He just collapsed. Somebody used to sit on the side of the field like that on a button. You just watch him and then go, and his legs would just go. They'd be on his back. Oh.
I'll ask you a question, Stevie. Did your defenders fall for it? Did they fall for it?
Oh, listen, the majority of the defenders in MLS fell for it.
Right.
Because there's no way it was just happened against us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's still annoying him now.
It didn't happen against us.
What about you, Frank, when it comes to where you started out playing?
Well, I'm starting my first game. I was 4 years old and I played goalkeeper, and it was the only game that I played because I was so small that I was on the line, but I couldn't reach the top of the bar. And I conceded 2 goals over my head. So that was the first time, the last time I played goalkeeper. And then I moved forward on the spine of all the positioning to finish striker. And I played most of the time striker until the last year of my amateur time, where the coach at Meaux, which is close to Paris, said, you know, I see you at the back, you know, most of the time during training session. Don't you want to try to play? And we started, and it worked very well, and immediately. And so I became defender. But I remember when I signed for Strasbourg, the third season, the coach asked me to play half of the season number 10, and I ended up finishing second top scorer of the League 2 with 19 goals, which is not too bad.
Not too bad at all.
Can I tell you a quick story about playing a different position? We were in quarterfinals of Copa America with Venezuela playing against Chile. And I'm coming off the bench. The national team coach calls me over. We're winning the game 2-1. It's probably about 25 minutes to go. And he says to me, I've seen you play on the right-hand side of the midfield for the Columbus Crew. And I really need you to do this job for me here. We're gonna regain possession. We're gonna find you as an outlet, and then we build from there. All the while he's telling me this, I'm like, wow. I have never played right midfielder in my life, ever. I have never been a right winger. I've never been a midfielder that talks to on the inside. I've never been a guy that has been an outlet through the midfield. And he's asking me to do this. Quarterfinals of Copa America, most important game in our national team history. And I had two choices. Either I tell him right then and there, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know how to do this. Or I say, well, let's get in there, baby, and mix it up. And that's exactly what I did. You don't turn the opportunity down, but it was what I considered at the time, even when he was telling me, like, are you sure? This is a gamble. We're gambling here.
Was that a long 25 minutes?
It was a very long 25 minutes because I was up and back, up and back, up and back.
How did you feel? Like, how would you have assessed your performance afterwards?
Oh, I was outstanding. There was actually one play. There was one play in particular. The ball gets played out to me. So we're defending. It gets played out to me. There's pressure coming from, I think it was their left back or the left midfielder. And the only option that I had was to flick it over him, a little chip over him to our sort of outside back that was supporting the attack on the right. But under pressure, it takes a little bit of not only skill, but a little bit of guts to try to pull that off. Because if I don't get it over him, they're going the wrong way, and our right back is already gone, and they're spacing behind, so that we're not catching them. When I brought the ball down, and this is a thought process, and I'm able to complete the little chip, I'm like, hey, look at me. This was my position all along. Hey, good decision, coach.
So
you know what you're doing.
The sub never got subbed.
The sub never got subbed.
Did you ever tell him the truth?
Absolutely not.
No.
Who knows? Because maybe he liked the experience so much, we're doing it again.
Maybe. All right, next question. Stevie, when a new player arrives at a club and their usual number is taken, who has the right for that number?
Oh, the man in charge. The man who's got it keeps it.
Unless it's a massive name player.
No. No, well, think about it. If you've got a massive name player, even as good as he might be, well, let me put it this way. If it's a Messi walking in, it kind of changes it differently, right? But if you're making a signing, and unless it's Messi, and you walk in and straight away you walk up to someone and go, give me that jersey, he's having it. That guy's got an enemy straight away. You know, you're causing problems right off the bat. So no, you figure a way of doing it. You maybe do it at the end of the season, or even the guy gets let go, or you figure it out in a positive manner. You don't just go, oi, mush, he's the jersey, he's getting it, because you just cause problems. But if it's Messi, it's a different ballgame.
Stevie, I don't know if you remember, I think it was at Inter Milan when Ronaldo signed for number 9. I think it was, I don't want to be mistaken, maybe Zamorano as a striker. Will it be possible?
Zamorano, yeah, he was centre forward.
Yeah, and he has to change the shirt. So he took the 18, but in the middle of the 1 and the 8, he put a plus for 1 plus 8.
Right.
And that was really fun. And I remember at Chelsea that when Marcel Desailly signed for Chelsea, and he wanted to wear the number 8, and it was Gustavo Poyet's number, and Gustavo didn't give it to Marcel Desailly. So Marcel Desailly had the number 6.
Yeah. Yeah, you keep that number. Okay, Stevie, as a coach, what was your main pre-season goal you wanted to achieve at the club?
Get fit. Because it's not about results pre-season. Because pre-season is very difficult to gauge how the season's going to go. You know, just be fit and ready, and have your starting 11 ready that you're going to put out, ready to go for the first game of the season. That's the most important thing. Listen, it's always nice to win games, whether it's pre-season or not, but that isn't the objective. The objective is the fitness aspect and be prepared and ready. That's the goal, nothing else.
Frank?
Yeah, I totally agree, and it's exactly the same for the players. I remember that for me, when I was very tuned in about my fitness, is during the preseason that we normally had to train like twice or thrice a day, and I was really up to it because I knew that was the benefits for the rest of the season. The only time where it didn't work is when I got injured after like 20 days of preseason and got injured. Then you have to start again, which is a nightmare because it's so hard to get into your highest part of fitness and be served for the whole season. But it's so important, and you don't care about the way you play, the results, whatever it is. You just want to be fit for the right day.
Last question. Frank, perhaps you can shed some light on this mystery. Why are you and Fabien Barthez never seen in the same place at the same time?
Oh, okay.
Because only one bolt at a time. That's what it is.
Oh, yes.
You see, it's possible.
Tell you what, they've got the same shape ahead as well, aren't they?
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that's the point.
No, Frank's
Stevie,
is a
that's
little
the
bit
only
more.
point, you know.
No. How often do you get recognised as one another, Frank?
You know, Fabien is in the middle of a commercial right now where you see him everywhere in posters. And yesterday I was driving to some friend's place and my wife thought it was me. I say, come on, you're gonna get out of the car. You know, if you're not able to recognize Fabien Barthez and myself, you know, you're not gonna stay in the car. and it's true that sometimes, you know, I look at the picture and say, oh, it's my. Oh no, it's not me. It's Fabien. No, it's crazy. It's crazy. I love Fabien.
What are you laughing at, Stevie?
I'm thinking, is it only me that Frank's got a beard and he doesn't he?
Well, can I tell you something? When my mum watched one version of Extra Time when this was brought up before, she said, you can tell Frank Leboeuf he's much better looking than Fabien Barthez for me.
Oh, yes, he is.
Barbara Murray. Frank Leboeuf.
If there's one person that doesn't need to hear that, it's Frank. Frank already knew that.
Say. I'm much. No, it's a better goalkeeper. But I'm a better
goalkeeper.
Not when he was 4. Not when he was 4.
Not that one game when he was 4. We've got some bonus footage.
I was on fire.
Apparently, for Stevie Nicol.
Oh, bonus.
Yeah.
Bonus footage.
Let's take a look.
Oh. Foul! Foul! There's a touch!
Wow.
There's a touch!
Wow.
There's a touch! Look at the touch! Right there! The trailing leg! The trailing leg! That's a foul!
By the way.
Oh, maybe not. Touch! The trailing leg!
How long did it take you to go down?
But
you actually stood on him.
Too late.
Hey, by the way, it's a good first touch, huh? It's a good first touch. Second touch got away from me.
If you're looking for a penalty, it's a great
Second touch got away from me, Frank. Second touch got away from me, Frank. Hey, the trailing leg.
Yeah, I know.
Was that little cheeky yellow I saw being brandished?
What? See that trailing leg? He got me. He got me. Hey, VAR gives it.
It touched you.
VAR gives it.
But you
never
fell too
touched
late.
it.
VAR gives it, huh?
Hang on.
No chance.
Can we ask the professional actor, Frank Leboeuf, what he thought about his performance there?
No, you know what? Oscar nominee, you know, because we can fail for that. You can fall for that, you know. But it's too late, a little bit too late. It's like you're punched in the face and you react after. So that's
I let myself down. I let myself down, Frank.
Yeah.
I let myself down.
As late as Frank slapping his head the other day when there was a fly on it.
Yes.
A little too late, Frank. A little too late.
Frank also said that he's not in the same place with Fabien Barthez because only one ball guy can be there. Well, that's not the case from the French national team. Just about everybody was ball in that French team. Just saying.
Yep, but Frank wasn't there.
Even Frank wasn't there.
No, he was with his wife for his anniversary.
True. And
she thought she was with someone. She thought she was with
Did your wife think it was Fabien Barthez in your anniversary?
Seriously. So the two of them, right? They're getting married. They're getting married at the registry, and she's watching Frank doing. And she's like, "Oh, why are you putting Frank Leboeuf? I thought your name was Fabien. Why is it?
No, but I'm gonna send you a picture of my wife being held by all the guys during the 10th wedding anniversary, and we are all bald. So it's why she can mix, you know, some people, you know, that's crazy. We didn't have any people, any guy with hair in that party.
Okay, mixing up the other guys, fair enough, but your husband?
Yeah, but you know, I don't know. She must see some. She must wear some glasses, I think, because she has a real problem.
Hey!
See.
Don't worry,
look
Frank.
at that look.
My mum loves you. All right, that's all we've got time for the latest
and I love your mother.
of Extra Time.
There's only one Frank Leboeuf.
We'll
Come
be
on.
back tomorrow. There's only one Frank Leboeuf. We love him.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.